Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. You are Asking Ashley. And today's question is, where do I find the good men? Where are the husbands? And we're going to get into that today because a lot of times when you do the work on yourself and you feel like you're in the right place, you look around and you feel like there are no good men. And we're also going to put an emphasis on husbands because you come into contact with good men. And good men might look like, they're handsome, they have a good job, they have all their stuff together. But if he's not a husband, he's not committed to you. And if he's not committed to you, that does not count because we don't care if you're a good man just trying to be in a situationship. That's not what we're looking for, ladies. We're not doing that anymore. Not in 2022. No, ma'am. So we're really going to get into that today. So first, let's define what a good man looks like. So very simply, a good man will provide, protect, and profess. Very simply. So provide. Of course, he is going to take care of things financially for you. He is going to, and of course, when you guys aren't living together and when you guys aren't married, you can't really see all that he will do for you. But in the little things, he's going to take care of dinner for you. He's not going to say, let's go Dutch. No. We don't go 50-50. Now you can offer to pay at certain times, and that's absolutely fine. If you invite him somewhere, you can pay. That's absolutely fine. But if he is courting you, he is paying for you. And that doesn't matter where you go. If he's inviting you to a vacation, he is paying for you. And I actually have a funny story about how I went on vacation with someone I was dating, and it went terribly wrong because he tried to 50-50 me. And I am not a Dutch girl. I do not go Dutch. I don't go half. I don't do it. And he tried it and had to send him back because he was not a good man for me. But I digress. So that's the first thing. He provides for you. And when you see him doing those things, like taking care of things and going the extra mile, as far as taking care of you financially, you'll know that he'll be a good provider as a husband. So then we go into protect. Obviously, he's going to, someone comes at you or anything physically, he's going to get in front of you and do those things. So that's obvious. But not so obvious, he's going to protect your heart. He is not going to put your heart emotionally, mentally in danger. So physically, mentally, emotionally. So that means that he's not going to be out on the streets embarrassing you. He's not going to be manipulating you, have your mind all crazy and have you thinking things and maybe saying little things to, control you. That's very mentally damaging. And that's not a protector because he's not protecting you mentally. And of course, emotionally, he's not going to have you crying and just sad and just on an emotional roller coaster. I mean, things happen, obviously, but if it's too many downs in a relationship, he's not a good man. He's trying to manipulate you. He's trying to do that mind act, and we're not doing that. Our mindset is all together, and we are not doing that. So he's not going to do those things if he is a good man and a husband to you. And then lastly, profess. And that probably is the most important thing because a man who loves you and cares for you and respects you will claim you in front of everyone. And in this social media time, I feel like maybe it was just me. People hit me with, I'm private. I don't want people to know my relationship status. Red flag. Throw the red flag up. No, we're not doing that. It's okay if he's like, okay, I don't want them to specifically know who you are so they won't, jump in your DM and things like that. And I can understand that. You just know know messy people and people do that. So I get that. Like he doesn't want to tag you or things like that. But if he doesn't want people to know that he is in a relationship, boy, bye. We're not doing that. He needs to profess his love to you publicly in front of his family, his friends, the people he doesn't know. He needs everyone to be clear that he is off the market. So that is what a good man is, and that's what you are looking for. Provide, protect, profess. So we got that out the way. So now, where are all the good men? And I know you're asking yourself, why aren't I finding them? Because you feel like you're doing the right thing. So it's 3 issues that come into play. So, number 1, you may not be where the good men frequent. You simply are going to, like I've said in previous videos, those hood places or places you've been hanging out since you were in high school or since you just, started college. And obviously, if you didn't find a man there now, you're not going to find a man in your late 20s and your early 30s. So all those places you've been to then, you need to not go. You need to go to different places. So sometimes, the day parties, that's not it. You're not finding a man because everyone's drunk there and there's no husbands there. So we need to stop going there if we're looking for a husband. Again, if you want to have a hot girl summer, girl, go. But if you're looking for a husband, don't waste your time there because you're not finding him there. And if you do find him, he may be drunk, it might be his party or something like that, and that's going to be like an off chance. But if you really want to really have the best statistics and the best advantages of what things, you want to be in the places that good men frequent. And we'll get into some of those places in just a minute. Number 2, you may have a good man, but you don't recognize it, and that's tough. You don't see the good in your man. Sometimes, again, it's social media that's killing us. In these relationships, you see another man doing this for his girlfriend. His girlfriend might be posting this. Oh, I got this new Birkin. Oh, he flew me out. And you think your man's supposed to be buying you a Birkin and you get flued out. No, you're not getting flued out because you're not there. And that's okay. You could be there eventually. But if you don't know how to spell Hermes, you need to stop worrying about a man buying you a Birkin bag. You are not Sweetie. You are you, and you are in your lane, and you need to focus on what's good for you. So if you have a good man and he just needs a little bit of tweaking, because everybody has flaws, everybody has deficiencies, and there's things that you can work with. Again, some things you don't work with, but some things you can work with, and he will be the man that you want and need and deserve as a husband. And the last one's a little tough. Number 3. The good man might be hiding in plain sight because you didn't do the work. And again, you're in control over that. You're in control over you. So that may be easy, but sometimes that's hard to face because you might be, meeting a good man. He has all these things, but he's so turned off by you. He's not giving good energy. He's not really giving you what you need to be getting to get a man. He's not checking for you. He's not pursuing you. He's not doing those things, or he might sleep with you, but he's not taking it to the next level. You're like, oh, he dogged me out. He's a man. It might be you. And that's tough. But sometimes it's us. I mean, at a point I was a mess. Honestly, I don't think I encountered a good man until I met my husband. But listen, maybe it was me. Maybe I wasn't giving what they wanted to give because, sometimes we look in the mirror and we looking good, but we aren't really looking good to people. But obviously, that can be changed. Again, results. If you're looking around and it's not looking how you want it to look, you definitely need to work on yourself. So now we have that all in line. We know what a good man is. We know the 3 issues. So we got that all in check. So where do you find the good men? It's very simple. You find good men where other good men are. Birds of a feather flock together. So they'll be at networking events. So when I decided that I was ready to, be serious with someone and find someone who I wanted to marry, I joined an association. I was a licensed investment advisor, so it was like a finance association or something like that. Honestly, I wasn't really interested in networking in that capacity. I was really looking for where the men hang with the good men. So I was on the prowl. And listen, sometimes you got to be on a hunt. If you want a man and you're serious about it, and especially if you on a timeline, you have to try to throw as many darts as you can, because when you're not finding a man and you really have a timeline, time is ticking as far as kids for women. So that's what I did. I joined I can't remember what it was, but it was in a major city. It was in Philly, and it was the National Association of finance professionals or something like that. It was like $150. And they just invited you to all the networking events. Most of the networking events were at rooftop bars, and they had a facility that they would have conferences and things like that. And that's what I joined, and that's what I was going to, because I wanted to go where the good men frequented. Another place you will find a good man, and this is something that I kind of didn't want to do. But depending on your career and your career field, it may work for you. They are at the workplace. You hear so many people say work husband, work wives. That's true. You spend so much of your time at work, and it becomes a family. And if you're vibing with someone, you might meet your husband. Now, you don't want to get with somebody else's husband and make him your husband, or get with someone else's man and be in the middle of that. That's not what you want to do. I'm not trying to say find a husband, somebody else's husband, to make him your husband. No, we're not doing that. I'm just saying, as you hang out with your coworkers, again, good men hang out with good men. And I mean, I see it because all of my husband's friends, they're colleagues, they work in similar industries, they're successful, and unfortunately they all married, so I can't hook none of y'all up. But good men typically hang with good men that are similar to them. So even if you're not necessarily finding someone at work, they might invite you to something. Like when I worked at a Fortune 500 company previously, my coworker invited me to his house for like a barbecue. So, he had his, family and, friends, and he had his work people that he works close with, and, we had a great time together. Now, of course, I didn't find anybody there, but that's something that you want to continuously get out and do. And when coworkers do invite you to things, sometimes they invite you to happy hour and things like that. Just little things that, at work, if you want to find someone in that career, you definitely want to frequent those places. And if you're really, really young and you're in college, obviously you want to join all of those groups as well, because that's a breeding ground for good husbands. Obviously you have to be with them before they make it to that, six-figure guy. But college is definitely a great place to meet men. And even if you out of college, honestly, when I didn't even go, when I was in college, but I didn't go to my friend's college, she would invite me to their like homecoming and things like that. I would go to those too. Again, I didn't find a man there. I wasn't even looking for a man. I was just looking for a party. But I would go to those things. My sister, she's an AKA. I went to her, I don't know the word, sorry. AKAs don't kill me, but it was like her coming out party or whatever it was. So I went to that. That's a great place to meet people, obviously. Again, you have to make sure you age appropriate. You can't be, the cougar, unless that's what you want to do. Remember, it's going to be college-aged guys. So that's more so for college girls. And also, if you want to find a man in a certain industry and you're not industry, just go ahead and work in that industry. Like you can be a office receptionist or something like that at a big corporate office. Like those men walking in and out, you're going to be greeting them. You're going to be, seeing them. They eventually will invite you to the Christmas party, and that's kind of where you get in, and you can meet your husband. Or like a medical office, if you're an office assistant in a doctor's office, you might get a doctor, or a dentist or whatever. So just be very, very intentional about where you're spending your time. And like I said, if you want to find a husband and you are on that time crunch, it has to be like it's a job, okay? You're going to networking events, you're going to all those people who invite you, or, you're like smiling, where you're at coffee shops. Maybe you go to a coffee shop right near a huge office. If you work in like a big city, New York, Philly, or things like Chicago, places like that, you're going to make sure that you're going to because everybody has to go to lunch. You take your lunch where that big company, Morgan Stanley, all those things, they pay. So you take your lunch right on that block, and that's where you find a good man. It's just so funny. And I wasn't thinking this because I wanted to find a man, but I had a job interview on Wall Street to be a banker. And I was like, this is nice. I'm going to be all fancy working here. I'm on Wall Street seeing all these, people. Again, I wasn't even looking for a husband, so I was thinking about that. But that is a great idea. I was interviewing with Chase, actually, to be a banker. And I was interviewing on Wall Street. So I thought that was really cool. But I didn't get the job. It didn't work out. I met my husband online. And again, that's an anomaly. You can go online too. But I feel like online, there's like the statistic with good men and people that are a mess is all out of whack. So again, that's really a gamble, but if you honestly want to find a good man, just be intentional about it. Make sure you're speaking positively. Make sure you're putting it into the universe. You're telling people, I'm going to be married, so I need to be doing this. I'm going to find my husband, so this is what I'm doing. I'm not going there anymore. You need to be super duper intentional about it. And I'm telling you, you will find your husband. I said it. I wrote it down. And, you know, in a few years, it took a few years, but I did find my husband, and you will find your husband too. So thanks for chatting with me. Thanks for getting to know how I found my husband a little bit. And I want to know how you are going to find your husband and the things that you are going to do. I want some action items. So go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time on Asking Ashley.